Hi everyone, welcome back to Daisy Poppets. I'm Kaz. In today's video, I want to try doing my very first crochet tutorial. So let's get to it. Before I begin this tutorial, I just wanted to tell you about these little baskets that I make. They've been crocheted using 50% acrylic, 50% cotton yarn. I'm pretty sure it's an 8-ply. I just got it from Spotlight. From memory, I think it might be the Modavira Flinders range. It's just, I think it's just like the Spotlight branded cotton acrylic blend. But anyways, back to these little mini baskets. I use them to store my essential oils around the house. I have several of these little baskets in the lounge room, kitchen, my bedroom, my ensuite, and my daughter has one in her bathroom and her bedroom as well. I just find that if the essential oils are close at hand, we're more likely to use them. So basically, if they're out of sight, they're out of mind. So I find these little baskets very handy to store. They, as you can see, they store about 7. These are probably about a 15 ml essential oil bottle. So as you can see that the stitches are quite close together. I use a 2mm hook. So just show you what we need for this project. So I have the 50% acrylic, 50% acrylic and 50% cotton variegated yarn that I purchased from Spotlight, 2mm crochet hook, a darning needle, pair of scissors for snipping off the ends. Couldn't find any of my stitch holders, so I have just got a scrap bit of yarn. Alrighty, let's get started with this tutorial. So I should mention that for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using US terminology. I found that there is a few people from the US watching my YouTube videos. In Australia, we do use both US and UK crochet terminology, but I just think that it might be easier if I just use US terminology. So getting back to the project, for the second row, you want to increase in every stitch in that first round. So you need to put 2 single crochets into Okay, to begin the mini basket, we want to make a magic circle or ring. To do that, you want to wrap the yarn around your fingers like so. So once and then twice around, and then with the second bit, you want that to be overlapping the first wrap. So then you want to take your crochet hook and insert that under the first wrap around, catch the second wrap around, and then drag that through. So you've created a loop on your hook like so. Pull this part of the yarn tight, and now what you want to do is you want to make a single chain, and that will fasten off the magic ring. This single chain does not count as a stitch. So now we want to work 6 single crochet stitches into the magic ring. So 6 single crochet stitches around. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you just want to pull this little bit of yarn tight so it closes up your magic ring. Now I'm going to be working in a spiral, so there's no need to join the rounds with a slip knot or anything like that, just to try and make it a lot easier, especially being my first tutorial. So let's get started on the third round. So just before we begin the third round, I'm just going to put a Okay, we're going to start the 4th round now, and we want to work 24 stitches around this round. So you need to put 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then in the 3rd stitch you want to put in 2 single crochet stitches, and then repeat that pattern all the way around until you've got 24 stitches. So as I said, 1 single crochet stitch in the 1st stitch, another single crochet in the 2nd stitch, and then 2 in the 3rd. Okay, you should have 24 stitches in the 4th round. If you have, just to start the 5th round, just move your stitch marker up so it's sitting just after that last stitch that you've made. Now to begin the 5th round, you want to make 30 stitches around this round. So to do 30 stitches in this round, you want to do 1 single crochet stitch in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 crochet stitches in the 4th crochet stitch, and then repeat that pattern all the way around until you've got 30 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet in the 3rd stitch, another single crochet, and in the 4th stitch 2 single crochets. So repeat those stitches until you've got 30 stitches, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, you should be have finished that round by now, and you have 30 stitches in that 5th row. So we're going to move up to our 6th round. So just move your stitch marker up so it's sitting next to the last stitch that you've just made. So in the 6th round we want to have 36 stitches. So to do that, we are going to put 1 single crochet stitch into the next 4 stitches, and then in the 5th stitch we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches. So 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 single crochets in this 5th stitch. So it's going to be 5, so 1 and 2 stitches, and that's the 6th single crochet stitch. So repeat that all the way around to the last stitch, and that will give you 36 stitches. I will meet you back again. Okay, I've worked 42 stitches around that 7th round, and I've moved the stitch marker up so it's sitting next to the last stitch that I just made, and we're going to be working into our 8th round now. So to do that we want to have 48 stitches all the way around. So what you want to do is you want to put a single crochet stitch into the next 6 stitches, and then in the next stitch you want to put 2 single crochet stitches into that stitch. So let's do this. So that's the first single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and in the next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around like before, so that we have 48 stitches in that round. I'm going to go ahead and complete this round and I will meet you back here. Okay, I've just worked the last stitch in the 9th round, and there is 54 stitches in this round, and so now we're going to move up to the 10th round by moving our stitch marker up so it's sitting next to the last stitch of the round. So in the 10th round we want 60 stitches. So you need to put 1 single crochet stitch in the next 8 stitches, and then 2 single crochet stitches in the next stitch. So let's get going. Sorry. One, 2, 3, I've just finished the 10th round, and there is 60 single crochet stitches in this round, and I've moved the stitch marker up so it's next to the last stitch in the 10th round. So this is the base of the basket complete now. So now we want to start working up the sides of the basket. To do this, we're going to, for the 11th round, we're going to just be working our single crochet stitches into the back loop of our work, and that will give us a nice flat base. So to start off, so to do the slip stitch, you just want to take your hook and insert it into the back loop, yarn around your hook, pull through that stitch, and then pull through the first loop on your hook, like so. Now, to give you a little bit of height, you want to just do one single chain. So yarn over the hook and then pull. Okay, I've just worked the last stitch in the 11th round, and I just want to see if you can see that. It will look like you've actually missing a couple of stitches, but rest assured you haven't. And we want to work the next round into this stitch here, so it will look like there's 2 stitches missing, but you want to skip those and start the 12th round in this stitch here. So miss this bit, miss that single chain that we worked to start off our 11th round, and then the 12th round will start in this stitch. Now, to keep building our height, we're going to move the stitch marker so it's sitting next to that last stitch that we've worked. Insert our hook into both the front and the back loop, and then continue around in both of those loops all the way around until you have another 60 stitches. So just insert the hook into your stitch, yarn around and pull through again as like a normal single stitch, and then you just continue along until you've got the 60 stitches. So I will meet you back here at the end. Okay, I've just finished the 12th round. There's still 60 stitches all the way around, and I've moved my stitch marker up so it's now sitting next to the last stitch of the 12th round, and we're starting to get a little bit of height in our basket. To continue the basket, you need to do another 12 rounds of just the 60 stitches all the way around. after each round, move the stitch marker up so it's sitting next to the last stitch of the round, and that way you don't lose your space. So as before, I'm going to do another 12 rounds, and I will meet you at the end of that 12th round. Okay, I've just finished the 24th round of the basket, and the next round we're just going to add a decorative crab stitch to finish off the basket. So to begin the next round, you just want to put a slip stitch in the next stitch, like so, and then you want to make one single chain, Okay, I've completed the 12 more rounds, so I've now got the desired height of the basket. So you should have 24 rounds in total. So we're just going to close this round off with a slip stitch into the next stitch like so, and I want to put my stitch marker in place, but this time I actually want to tie it because I might lose it, because we're going to be working a crab stitch, which is a little bit different because you work Alrighty, I've finished the last stitch of this decorative crab stitch round, and now what you want to do is just turn your work so you've got the inside of the basket facing you, and I'm just going to show you where we're going to put the slip stitch I'll say that again, the slip stitch to end this round. So you'll notice next to the last stitch that you've worked, there is this post here. So you want to insert your hook into just where that post is in here, and then finish off with a slip stitch. So take your hook, insert it into that little space next to that post, yarn over your hook, draw through, doesn't want to work for me, insert your hook, yarn over your hook, so you've got the two loops on your hook, and then just drag that loop through to that first loop on your hook. Okay, So that's a slip stitch to finish off that round. What you can do now is just pull up the hook a little bit so you've got a little bit more wriggle room, and now you can snip off a tail, like leaving yourself a long tail, and then just pull the loose tail through, closing off. Now to finish off your basket, you then want to weave in your ends. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends. You can use whatever method you feel comfortable with in weaving in the ends. Everyone's got their own special way of doing it, so whatever works for you, go ahead and fasten off your ends. I decided I was going to show you how I weaved in my ends. So what I do is I've just inserted the hook underneath the inside of my basket, and I'm just trying to like find match the same colored thread, and I'm just going underneath those two loops there, and then going underneath again those posts, underneath the next two posts, like so. Do that again. And then underneath again. Now what I want to do is miss this post, and then I want to insert the needle underneath the next post so that the yarn will go over this post but underneath the next post, and then just follow my work back, weaving underneath the posts. Again, underneath again, underneath those two posts again, underneath those two again, underneath again, so turn my work back around to find it easier, and then going over the next post but underneath the following post, underneath those two, underneath the next two, so I'm just underneath again. This time I caught 4 posts. Trying to go as slowly as possible just to show people how I do it, and then through here, I think that should be enough, that the ends won't come through. But what I like to do is just stretch that back out so you haven't lost the definition in the crab stitch, and then cut your yarn as close to your work as possible without catching any of the basket, and then pull, and the yarn that you've just weaved in should be hidden inside your work. It's no secret, I'm not the best at weaving in ends, but if anyone's got any tips on how they work in their ends, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear or see how you do it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my basket inside out, and I'm just going to weave in the ends here. A lot of people complain about weaving in ends. It's just part of, you know, what we've got to do. So I think we just embrace it and just accept what we've got to do. So I'm just going to weave my ends in around like so. There's a little stitch here going underneath. And stitch here, go underneath. Go underneath here. Underneath again. Underneath again and pull through. Underneath here, pull through. And then I want to work back again. Bit tight. Okay, I think that's been weaved in enough, so I'm going to go ahead and snip off the end, going as close as possible to my work without cutting into the stitches. Turn my work back the right way around. So you can see that this little basket is able to retain its shape. So before, I'm just going to fill it up with some bottles. There you go. I've got another little basket. Obviously you can make it as wide as you want and as tall as you want. So if you want to make it wider, just add extra rounds to the base of your basket. So working in multiples of 6. So the next round would have 66, the following 72, and then 78, and then 84, depending how wide you want to go. Excuse me. And also, if you use a thicker yarn, just use a corresponding hook to go. I'm so sorry. To correspond with the yarn size that you use. Hi everyone, I'm back again. I just want to apologise for my coughing fit that I just had. So if you aren't aware, about 3 years ago I was involved in a pretty horrific car accident where I sustained multiple fractures in my arms, my hips, ribs and my right kneecap, along with some pretty nasty internal injuries, one of them being my diaphragm was ruptured and my lungs kept on collapsing, so they put me in an induced coma for about 3 weeks, and obviously they had to intubate me, which is putting a tube down your throat to assist your breathing. So if I talk for long periods of time, my throat dries up and my my mouth and my throat get sore and I start coughing. Once again, I apologize, and if you have made it this